Welcome to A Canadian Investing in the U.S., a podcast and YouTube channel focused on Canadians buying real estate with host Glenn Sutherland.
Welcome to another episode of A Canadian Investing in the U.S. This week, my guest is Jesse DiLillo. Jesse, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hey Glenn, thanks for having me. So my name's Jesse. I've been investing in real estate for the past 13 years. My family and I started in tax lien investing and then got into wholesaling and fix and flip. Now we're working into commercial and some new construction. Outside of real estate, I work with a couple people. We have a partnership with a real estate tech company. We resell some real estate tech products, and we do some coaching and marketing for individuals as well. So it's another side business that we have going on. Our company's called Get Crazy Leads. We do lead generation, automation for people. So we set up fully automated lead gen systems, as well as walking people through and coaching them through how to use the actual platforms that we're on. So that's a side business outside of the actual active real estate investment, but that's pretty much what we're involved in right now. So
there's so much to talk about now. I even put more things in my head than before. Okay. Well, what we originally were going to talk about was like the distance real estate investing. Jesse lives across the country, invests in different markets. Very similar thing that what we're doing with doing it from Canada. So he's doing it from probably similar amount of distance. Maybe we'll talk about that a bit, and then we'll talk about some of your other businesses if we have time. Tell us a bit about what you're doing. I know you're in California, right? Or where are you now? You're always moving around every time I talk to you.
So this week I'm in Wisconsin, visiting a friend out here, about 45 minutes from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yeah. So it's been snowing the last week.
What?
That was nice to see.
We don't even have snow here in Canada yet.
We have 4 or 5 inches here.
Whoa!
And it snowed for like 4 days straight, and it accumulated like right away. I hadn't seen snow in 4 years, being from California, so this was pretty nice to see. Except it's October, so I really wasn't expecting it yet.
Yeah.
But we actively invest in Western Pennsylvania and in Florida. Normally I'm in San Diego, California. Our business is based out of Southern California. So we got involved in the Western Pennsylvania market, first doing turnkey rentals with an old business partner. Mm-hmm. And then we got into the larger fix and flip projects down in the city of Pittsburgh, where it's a little bit stronger of a job market. Transitioning into the commercial space, that's really what we got into fix and flips for, was to build up enough capital to eventually buy apartment buildings and other commercial units. So that's what we're working on now. We're closing one up November 30th. And then we have our other business in Florida. We're going to be starting a container home project down there. So it'll be our first one of those, new construction. We stack up shipping containers, weld them together, and turn it into a house. So that's a new market, a new sector that we're trying to enter there. Seeing how it goes. It's all new for us, and there's not a lot of people doing it. The one thing we like about it is doing it in Florida. It's actually hurricane proof is what they say. 200-mile-an-hour winds is what it can withstand. So better than a traditional house. So we'll see how it goes with that. We're kind of just testing the market on some land that we've owned for about 10 years. If that's a success, we have 4 or 5 more lots that we'll be building on down there as well. So
that's really interesting. I like the container sort of thing. I don't know much about containers, so like when these questions might be like really dumb, but would the like water not just sit on the roof and slowly, or what do you do there?
We actually put a facade on everything. A real roof and a facade. We don't want to. So my idea is to not make them look like shipping containers, kind of surprise people with, oh my gosh, it's a shipping container. When you walk in the home, I don't want it to look like a shipping container. Our architect and designers are working on making that happen. They're putting a nice brick stone and stucco siding on the outside, roof panels that actually drain so the water's not sitting there. What they do is they actually seal. They put a rough screw coating on the shipping containers, as everything's together, and then we mount to there. So, I mean, I don't have all the technical engineering
No.
side of it. That's why we hire those guys to do that. But yeah, it's going to look like a regular house. It's going to look like just a modern, very sharp edged home. Just something kind of like you see in the Hollywood Hills now. There's a lot of people building like these modern looking homes, and they're just like that. And a lot of the modulars kind of look the same as well.
Is there any advantage to using these shipping containers other than the hurricane proof?
Yeah, structurally, they're a little more structurally sound. So the goal is to not be, it's a more sustainable way to build, right? Because you're upcycling an old shipping container rather than stick-built homes. That when you see a lot of these builders building these stick-built homes, within 3 to 5 years they need work, and some of them need major work. I mean, they slap them up as fast as they can in their toothpicks, right? I mean, we see it all the time. You see a house that's slanted this way and it's brand new. It's like, what happened there? So these the goal of these is to not have to do maintenance, any major maintenance on it for close to 50 years. That's really our goal with that, is to build a sustainable home that's actually long lasting and good for the environment. So we're
And so, like, for these things, do you like bolt them to the ground? Or you just put them on a slab? Like, what's
yeah. They sink anchors into the concrete, and then they get bolted, and I believe they weld the bolts on there after.
Okay.
So it's like extremely secure.
No, I kind of had this idea like 2 years ago. I had a person come on the show from talking about like the hurricanes in Puerto Rico, and they're like, "Oh, you can invest the same way as you invest in Canada because we're like affiliated with the United States, and so you can get the same kind of loans and everything else." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's just gonna blow away." I'm like, "What about those shipping container homes?" Then I got looking on AliExpress, and you can buy like these shipping containers already, like electrical run and the drywall already done. And I was like, but I'm like, then I gotta ship it from here. I'm like, how do I get it from the airport? It just sounded like a logistics nightmare, and then getting it, the foundations and everything going. But it was a cool idea. Anyway, totally off topic, but I thought that was I thought it was a great idea, especially for these areas where there's a lot of hurricanes and stuff. And if you can make it look pretty, like, that sounds awesome. So are you just building these on like the land you already have, or are you looking for different spots for these?
So I have we have some land in Port Charlotte. My parents had bought it originally to retire there, but when my father passed away a couple of years ago, my mom said, she really didn't want to live on the Gulf side. She wants to live on the ocean side. So we figured we'll build that, see what it sells for, and then do a 1031 exchange into a condo or something for her on the other side of Florida. The one thing, now you mentioned the storms, we've been talking with the company that's designing them for us, and one of the concepts was to just have the pre-built done ones like you're talking about, right? Yeah. But give them the ability to build off of it, so you can put that down after a storm hits, hook up all the utilities, and then build off of the back traditionally or with more containers. So that's kind of an idea we've been tossing around. With major storms happening and climate change, there's a lot more devastating storms happening. So if we can come up with a solution that the biggest problem would be stocking them, right? You'd have to have 100 or 200 of these containers sitting around that you're paying for. So I think that would be the biggest challenge, and then connecting with a agency like FEMA for the storm relief. But at the end of the day, like, you would still have to have 100 of those sitting in a warehouse ready to go at all times. So
you just mentioned, like, where are you finding these, though? So you can just go buy them one at a time then?
You can find them anywhere. I mean, you can look on eBay and get them. The guys that we're using, they actually source them for us, and they source the contractors to do the work as well. So it's kind of a turnkey service for us. That's how we like to set everything up. More of a hands-off, situation. We still go there. We project manage. We're there checking on the projects. We actually hire a project manager for like the Florida project, especially because that'll be a new thing. I want to be there
Yeah.
Hopefully we can start that by mid to end November, and I'll actually drive down there from here in Wisconsin, get out of the snow for a little bit and enjoy some Florida sunshine. But
So you said, I just caught a key word there. You said when you want to be there. So you're from California, you're now in Wisconsin, so you're going to go, whenever you're doing all these projects in Pittsburgh and Florida and stuff, you actually travel from California to see all the projects?
yeah, I try to go every 2 months, every 2 to 3 months we're there. So I like to see the project. Just it's more of a comfort thing for me, knowing I'm putting investors' money in there. We raise private capital to do all the deals, so I'm responsible for that happening, and I want to make sure that that their investment is protected. So by me being there, it gives them a little bit more comfort. We can FaceTime and walk through the house. They can see what their money is actually going towards. So I like to go there for that reason, as well as I used to actually do a lot of the trades. A lot of my summer jobs between high school and college were all, in junior hockey, were all, trade jobs. So I like to go there and see and make sure, with my construction knowledge and experience, things that are being done right, and just monitoring the crews and making sure that we're getting the highest and best work that we can out of everybody. So
awesome.
Yeah. It's also, it's a tax deduction as well when you
right.
Go out to see the projects.
And you're going to Florida, so it's not like it's a little nicer than Wisconsin.
I've been driving too, so I put about 6,500 miles on my truck since the end of July, and it's just another couple thousand down to there.
Awesome. I remember when we chatted before. I just kind of got it kind of in my head. You were saying something about buying on canals and water. That's the Florida stuff, or is that the Pittsburgh stuff?
Yes, so that's the one. The one that we're building on now. It's got about 100 feet of waterfront. It's on a canal that leads right out into. I don't remember the name of the river, but that goes right out into the Gulf. So I think it's like a 30-minute boat ride out to the Gulf. But it's a really. That's actually the most expensive part of it. Is like the seawall, the dock, the boat lift. It's all the accessories, like the outdoor kitchen, the pool, everything that we're doing there. The actual home is not too expensive to build.
I don't know if you're allowed to give away your secret sauce, but like, what does it cost to build one of these container homes, and what do they kind of sell for?
So we have the cost of the actual home is around $300,000. We're building a luxury model to start. So the idea is to, just like a traditional new construction builder, right? They build their highest and best to start. You walk in that and you go, ooh, I want this, I want this, I want this. And so we're trying to really model that structure, model that business model and seeing how it goes. But this one, the total cost of the project is going to be close to $450,000 to $500,000, depending on the final quotes from the dock and seawall. The after repair value, the retail price, we've had several realtors run it for us, just because we don't know everything about the area. Plus, nobody really knows about the container homes. It's such a new project. We've had estimates from $650,000 to around $800,000. So. That's the high end, the high end one. So we'll see, really what happens. At the end of the day, if we break even, at the 600 price point, we're making money, right? If we sell it for more, obviously that's something that we're going to continue to pursue. If not, we break even. It was worth a try, and we'll try it again. Maybe with a scaled down model, right? Something a little less high end, maybe not as much money we put into the outside, maybe making it look more like a shipping container. So there's a few different options that we have with these, and it's a whole new venture. So we're excited just to get the project started and do something with this land that we've had for almost 10 years.
So you said, this land. So is it like one piece of land? Did you have to sever it up, or are you treating it more like a condo or a mobile home park where it's all like buying lot space or something?
It's between two HOA communities.
Yeah.
So there's no HOA there, which is nice.
Yeah.
And there's 8 or 9 homes built around it. They're all, traditionally built. They were built anywhere from 3 to 20 years ago. So they're, there are some options there for us if this one goes well to pick up the vacant land around it and continue to do that. And then one of our partners has some land there as well. They have 4 or 5 lots that they've been owned free and clear for many years as well, and they haven't done anything with them. So it's interesting. We both had lots in the same area, right? Port Charlotte, Florida, which is about an hour south of Tampa. Really, the goal would be to build this, see what it sells for. If we want to do a pre-sale, obviously, as fast as we can. And then if we can get that, we'll be picking up, as many lots as we can in that same neighborhood and just kind of turn the whole neighborhood into a container home community.
Cool. So we'll go back to the distance investing. So for this distance investing, what are some of the advantages and disadvantages you're finding?
Some of the advantages are just the freedom of your time. So when we're working in California actively, one of the biggest challenges is you're always there, right? You're always there. You're always monitoring it. So you have a project manager who's there that you're paying to be there, but then you're still showing up, standing there 4 hours a day watching people swing hammers. That's not really a good use of your time.
Yeah.
And you're continuously driving by the project, going there for things, picking stuff up. It's those are things you're really being an active employee there and not really being the owner of the business. So one of the biggest advantages was the freedom of time. And then the barriers to entry are extremely different from working in Southern California. A house that's burned to the ground is $500,000 because the land it sits on, right? We can get a similar property in Western Pennsylvania for $100,000, right? So just being able to do that, it was easier for us to raise capital on projects that are out in the Midwest because you're not raising as much capital. So if we're raising $400,000 or $500,000 on a project rather than $1 million on a project, it's just a little bit easier to get things done. We have a lot of good, solid investors that we work with that continue to extend more and more, like lines of credit almost to us to buy more projects and get into larger deals. So the more we're able to turn them a little bit faster. We don't have the same permitting process that we do in California. That could take 3 months in California. It can take 2 hours in Pennsylvania. Well, pre-COVID, right? A contractor would walk up to the permit desk, you'd get the permit, and you'd leave that same day. California was not the same process at all. So there's different regulations, there's different codes, there's different tax benefits. We just enjoyed the Midwest market. Like I said, the barriers to entry would make it attractive. The amount of inventory that's there, the profit margins, a whole lot less competition than in Southern California. So we're able to compete pretty easily, like in the Western PA market, compared to Southern California, where people are overpaying for every house. So that's our biggest advantage was really just getting out of these oversaturated markets and moving into the less known but still very strong housing markets.
Gotcha. Because part of me always wondered, would it not make sense just to go live in Florida? Not even to buy the investments, not for that reason, but are they not like a no-tax state? You could save yourself some income tax that way, or does it have any implications to you even if you're in a different state?
So one of the goals with this container project, like I said, is to get my mom down to Florida. She wants to retire there, but we'll register all of our businesses in Florida rather than in California. So we still have to pay a tax to California. We're incorporated in Wyoming. All of our LLCs are out of Wyoming, but we still have to pay a California tax just because it's California and we like to tax you. So if and when my mom gets to Florida within the next year or so, we'll be moving everything out to there, and we'll be able to, no longer have to pay California taxes.
That is one thing I never talk about on my show. When you said Wyoming, it made me remember. I'm like, and so I know the answer, but why Wyoming? Why Delaware? Why do people register in these states?
It's the tax advantages and the anonymity, right?
Yeah.
So Wyoming does not disclose who owns the LLC, and they never disclose who owns the LLC. Yeah. So when we when we register our LLC there, no one will ever be able to know who owns that, right? Unless I tell them. Obviously, I own this LLC. It's registered in Wyoming. People know that, right? But the anonymity and the tax benefits, of being registered in those states rather than in California. If our LLCs were in California, we'd be paying a much heavier tax than we would, registering them in Wyoming.
What's the registration fee for Wyoming? Because you're going to have to pay Wyoming registration every year, and then you're going to have to pay, your Pennsylvania and your Florida, because I assume they're underneath or they're in the same corp.
Yeah. So the annual fee in Wyoming, I think, is like $120 maybe, or it was $49, but then you pay for the registered agent, so it's like $149 for the year. It's $500 to start the LLC. They send you all the paperwork. It takes. They have a 24-hour turnaround if you need it. They also the company that we used has age shelf companies. So if you needed 3 years of, for example, you're going after business credit and you need 3 years of business experience, you can buy one of these shelf companies from them that's been doing that. So.
There's another show we could talk about buying shell companies. Might have to have you come back to talk about that, because that's a whole other topic I've never covered on the show too, which has always been interesting to me. So yeah, it sounds like Wyoming's fairly affordable. Delaware is a little more expensive than that, and probably Florida's your more expensive permission to operate more than everything else. Florida's fairly expensive.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Like since we still haven't broken ground or anything on the project, we haven't registered to do business in California yet.
Okay.
Pennsylvania is fairly cheap. I think that was only a couple $100. It wasn't too bad. You only need it for the LLC that's working there. So we try to keep everything under the one parent LLC, and then each project is in an individual one. So.
Gotcha. No, it's very interesting, and I could go off. I have to make some notes afterwards and probably do another 4 shows on just different side topics of this to go a little deeper. Anyway, Jesse, if people want to get a hold of you, they're interested in your investments or investing or information, how do they track you down?
You can just go to investwithjsj.com or just type in my name in Google, Jesse DiLillo, and everything will show up. So. I'm an open book. I'm pretty happy to help anybody. One of our biggest things is just giving back to the community and giving back to other real estate investors. So we tried to. We actually launched a virtual meetup that we do once a month. It's called the West to East Virtual Meetup, where we just try to provide as much value as we can to people and provide networking opportunities. Starting another. Sort of along the same lines, but it's going to be on commercial syndications. Starting that within the next couple months as well with another investor from Pennsylvania who owns about 1,400 units personally. So he wants to get into larger syndications as well, and we decided we should, get the same thing going, right? Just spread knowledge and connect people and see what happens out of it, especially on like the syndication side, because if you can get some people in there with decent experience, like I have good experience as far as capital raising goes. So that's obviously important for setting up these GPs and the limited partnerships. But if you can get other syndicators in there that have ran deals before, it makes the whole process a lot easier. So we're looking forward to getting that started as well.
I'll probably have to have you back on again, but thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to being on here again. I feel like we keep going off in different directions, so there's a hundred things we could talk about.